Welcome to AudioBooks Guides. Today we're exploring the summary of The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. This book is one of the top-selling titles on Amazon, and we'll go through it chapter by chapter. How much stress, frustration, and disappointment could you avoid if you stopped trying to control others? Today, you'll discover how this book can help you do exactly that. Before we dive in, please subscribe to this channel. It truly gives me the motivation to keep creating audiobook summaries for you. Now, let's begin with Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Managing Stress by Letting Go. Stress is one of the loudest voices in modern life. It shows up in traffic, in endless to-do lists, in the weight of other people's demands, and often it shows up in silence. A restless mind at 2 a.m., spinning over what you cannot control. The Let Them Theory begins its work here, because stress is fueled by control. The more you try to hold every detail in place, the more pressure you place on your shoulders. And when things slip out of your hands, as they always do, your stress skyrockets. So what does let them look like in real life? Imagine this. You're at work. A colleague misses an important deadline. Your first instinct might be to take over, to redo the work yourself, or to rehearse the perfect lecture you'll give them later. But pause, take a breath, and whisper. Let them learn responsibility. Let them face the consequence. Let them decide whether they'll rise or not, because your peace is not built on their performance. Another example, you're planning dinner, and your partner forgets to pick up the groceries. In the past, you might have exploded, or quietly held resentment all evening. But instead, you practice let them be imperfect. Let them handle the late-night run to the store. Let them realize what you carry without nagging or control. This isn't laziness, and it isn't indifference. It's a conscious choice to stop carrying stress. That doesn't belong to you. Stress often grows because we confuse what's ours with what isn't. We take on other people's failures, their moods, their responsibilities, and soon we're drowning in problems that were never meant to be ours. The let them practice cuts that tie. When someone behaves in a way you can't change, instead of grabbing their rope and pulling, you let it drop, and suddenly, the tug-of-war ends. Think about the last week. How many times did you overthink someone else's choices? How many times did you replay a conversation you couldn't undo? How many times did you stress over things that belong to others? Each of those moments is an invitation to say, let them, because the truth is this, your nervous system is exhausted, not because life is cruel, but because you've been trying to manage the unmanageable. You've been fighting battles that were never your assignment. When you practice letting go, you reclaim your calm. You begin to notice your own needs again. You breathe deeper. Your mind clears. And from that state, you can respond wisely instead of reacting wildly. Over time, something powerful happens. Stress doesn't vanish, but it changes shape. Instead of a storm that controls you, it becomes a signal that asks, am I holding what's mine? Or am I carrying what belongs to someone else? If it's yours, face it. If it isn't, let it go. Let them. This simple filter is the first step to freedom, because every time you practice, you lighten your load, and a lighter life is a calmer life. Key takeaways from this chapter. The first step is understanding that you cannot control everything, and trying to do so only drains your energy. When you pause, breathe, and say, let them, you reclaim your focus, your calm, and your clarity. Letting go is not giving up. It's choosing where to invest your energy. Chapter 2. Freeing yourself from opinions. One of the greatest weights we carry is the fear of what others think. It shows up in small choices, like what you wear to work, and in bigger decisions, like who you love, what career you pursue, or how you spend your time. The question is always buzzing in the back of your mind. What will they think of me? But here's the truth. You cannot stop people from forming opinions. Judgment is human nature, and if you make your life a performance for their applause, you will never taste real freedom. This is where the let them theory enters. When people judge, when they whisper, when they exclude you from the group, instead of bending yourself to fit their comfort, you practice 2 words. Let them. Imagine you post something personal online. A few people leave snarky comments. You could delete the post. You could replay the comments in your head for hours. You could spiral into shame. Or you could say, let them misunderstand. Let them criticize. Let them scroll past. Their opinion is not your truth. Or picture this. You share your dream of starting a small business. Your uncle smirks. Your coworker says it's unrealistic. A friend tells you it's too risky. Your instinct might be to argue, to convince, to shrink your dream until it feels acceptable. But instead you say, let them doubt. Let them play it safe. Let them stay in the cage of their own fear, because their opinion does not pay your bills. And it certainly does not define your future. Every time you release the grip of other people's judgments, you build muscle in self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Here's a question for you. How many times have you said, yes, when your heart screamed, no, just to avoid disapproval? How many times have you muted your voice because you feared how it might sound to someone else? Each of those moments chips away at your authenticity. But with practice, let them becomes your shield. You no longer shapeshift for strangers. You no longer silence yourself for comfort. You begin to live as you, unapologetically. Of course, letting go of opinions isn't easy. Our brains are wired for belonging. We want approval, because rejection once meant danger. But today, the danger isn't real. It's imagined. And here is the key. Every opinion is simply information, filtered through someone else's story. Their fears, their values, their experiences, says far more about them than it ever says about you. So the next time you feel the sting of judgment, pause, take a breath, and say quietly, let them think what they want. Let them speak how they will. Let them carry their own narrative, because you are carrying yours. And the freedom you feel when you stop performing for the crowd is the freedom to finally live your life on your terms. Key takeaways from this chapter. Seeking approval from others often traps you in stress and comparison. When you recognize your own worth and choose actions aligned with your values, you free yourself from judgment. Practice saying, let them, their opinion is theirs. Your confidence is yours. Chapter 3. Handling negative reactions. Life is full of people reacting in ways we don't expect. Sometimes with anger, sometimes with criticism, sometimes with indifference. Your instinct might be to push back, to defend yourself, to fix the situation immediately. But often, the harder you push, the more tension grows, and you end up reacting, rather than responding. This is where the let them theory becomes powerful. When someone snaps at you in traffic, or cuts you off in conversation, or critiques your work unfairly, instead of stepping into the storm, you pause, you breathe, and you whisper, let them be upset. Let them carry their own frustration. Let them act as they will. Their reaction is theirs, not yours. Imagine this. A colleague harshly criticizes your presentation. Your first thought might be to argue, to prove yourself right, to defend your every word. But if you say, let them, you allow them to have their opinion, without it eroding your calm. This doesn't mean you ignore important feedback. It means you choose what to internalize and what to release. You respond selectively, with clarity instead of emotion. Think about your personal life. A friend makes a hurtful comment, or a partner reacts unfairly in an argument. Your old habits might be to fight, to justify, to brood over the words for days. But with let them, you create distance from the reaction, so it doesn't control your mood. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. You stop taking every negative reaction personally. You stop giving other people power over your emotional state. and you begin to respond from a place of calm, rather than panic. Here's a reflection for you. How many times have you argued, or ruminated, and realized later it made no difference? How often did a reaction from someone else determine the quality of your entire day? Every let them moment is a chance to reclaim your energy, to choose when to engage, and when to step back, because not every storm requires you to stand in it. Sometimes, the wisest action is to let it pass. This approach doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means responding intentionally. It means protecting your peace, while allowing others to carry their own emotions. And the irony is this: when you stop reacting, people often mirror your calm. Negativity loses its grip, and your relationships improve, not because you controlled them, but because you controlled yourself. So the next time someone's reaction threatens to upset you, pause, breathe, and say, let them. Their storm is theirs. Your peace is yours. Key takeaways from this chapter: people will react in ways you don't like. It's natural, it's human, but their reactions are theirs, not yours. By pausing, breathing, and saying, let them, you protect your peace. Respond intentionally, and stop letting negativity dictate your emotions. Chapter 4. Overcoming comparison and envy. Comparison is one of the sneakiest thieves of joy. Creeps in quietly, through social media feeds, through casual conversations, through the stories we tell ourselves. You see a friend achieve a promotion, a neighbor buy a new house, or someone post about a perfect vacation, and suddenly your own life feels smaller, less significant, less enough. The let them theory gives you a different lens. Instead of measuring your worth against others, you practice. Let them live their story. Let them shine. Let them succeed, because their path is theirs, and your path is yours. Comparison often comes from fear. Fear that you're not enough. Fear that life is passing you by. Fear that others' success diminishes your own. But in reality, someone else's win does not take away yours. Their happiness does not subtract from yours. Their journey does not invalidate your potential. Imagine your life as a garden. Others' gardens bloom differently. Some flowers grow faster, some taller, some in bright colors you don't have. But your garden is unique. Your seeds, your soil, your sunlight. When envy arises, you pause, acknowledge the feeling without judgment, and whisper, let them grow, let them thrive, and turn your focus back to your own garden, nurturing what only you can grow. This isn't denial. It's not pretending you're not affected. It's choosing to redirect your energy. Instead of wasting time resenting others, you invest in yourself, your growth, your dreams, your happiness. Reflection is powerful here. Think about the last time you compared yourself to someone. How much energy did it consume? How did it affect your confidence, your mood, your motivation? Every comparison is a choice. You can let it pull you down, or you can let it pass, and focus on your own path. The let them practice trains your mind to see life differently. Instead of measuring, you celebrate. Instead of judging, you accept. Instead of competing, you cultivate. Over time, this rewires your perspective. You stop chasing validation from outside. You stop letting envy dictate your emotions. You begin to find contentment in your own progress, your own accomplishments, your own journey. So the next time you feel that familiar sting, pause, breathe, and say, let them live their story. Focus on yours, and watch how freeing it feels to reclaim your joy. Key takeaways from this chapter: comparison steals joy, envy clouds clarity, and measuring yourself against others only diminishes your happiness. By saying, let them, you allow others to live their journey, while focusing on your own growth, your own garden, and your own achievements. Chapter 5. Letting go of control in relationships. Relationships can be the greatest source of joy, and also the greatest source of stress. We want to love fully, But we also want to control outcomes. We want people to act the way we expect, think the way we hope, and respond the way we desire. This is where so many of us struggle. We try to steer, to manage, to predict every twist and turn. And in doing so, we drain our energy and strain the very relationships we cherish. The let them theory offers a simple, yet profound shift. You stop trying to control others, and instead, focus on your own behavior, your own choices, your own responses. Imagine a friendship. Your friend cancels plans at the last minute. Your first instinct might be frustration, anger, or passive-aggressive remarks. But instead, you pause, breathe, and say, let them make mistakes. Let them have their reasons. Let them navigate their own lives. Your role is not to fix, but to show up authentically, without expectation. This applies in romantic relationships as well. You cannot control how your partner feels, what they say, or the decisions they make. But you can control your own actions, your communication, your love, your boundaries. When you release control, a new freedom emerges. Relationships become less about manipulation and more about mutual respect and understanding. You begin to accept others as they are, without trying to sculpt them into your vision. Consider parenting for a moment. You want your children to succeed, to follow the rules, to make good choices, but trying to control every moment can backfire. Letting them experience consequences, letting them explore, letting them fail, teaches responsibility and independence, and it builds trust between you and them. Reflection is crucial here. Think of one relationship in your life where control dominates. How often do you attempt to dictate outcomes? How would the dynamic change if you simply let them be, while maintaining your boundaries? Over time, practicing let them in relationships reduces tension, increases respect, and strengthens connection, because when people feel free to be themselves, they respond more openly, more honestly, and more lovingly. So the next time you notice the urge to control a partner, friend, or family member, pause, breathe, and say quietly, let them live their life, and focus on living yours. Key takeaways from this chapter: comparison steals joy, envy clouds clarity, and measuring yourself against others only diminishes your happiness. By saying, let them, you allow others to live their journey, while focusing on your own growth, your own garden, and your own achievements. Chapter 6. Embracing discomfort and uncertainty. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Even the most carefully laid plans can be disrupted by unexpected events, sudden changes, or outcomes you never imagined. Our instinct is to resist, to seek certainty, to avoid discomfort at all costs. But the truth is, growth lives in the spaces we resist, in the uncertainty we fear, in the moments that make us uncomfortable. The let them theory teaches us to lean into this discomfort, to say, let it be, let the uncertainty exist, let the discomfort teach, let the unknown guide you toward new possibilities. Imagine starting a new job, moving to a new city, or taking on a challenging project. Your mind races with what-ifs. But instead of trying to control every detail, you pause, you breathe, and you whisper, let it be. Let the challenges reveal your resilience. Let the mistakes teach. Let the unknown unfold naturally, because discomfort is not a barrier. It is a signal that you are growing. Think about fear. Fear often disguises itself as certainty, tells you to stay safe, to remain small, to avoid risks. But fear is not the enemy. Resisting fear is. Every time you accept discomfort, you build courage. Every time you embrace uncertainty, you strengthen your adaptability. And every time you release the need to control outcomes, you open the door to creativity, opportunity, and freedom. Reflection time. Consider a moment when fear or uncertainty held you back. How did avoiding discomfort affect your growth? What might have happened if you had leaned in, rather than resisting? The practice is simple, but not easy. When anxiety rises, when doubts whisper, pause, breathe, and say, let it be. Let the situation unfold. Let life teach. Let yourself learn. Over time, embracing discomfort transforms your perspective. You stop seeing uncertainty as dangerous. You stop avoiding the unknown. And you begin to see every challenge as an opportunity to strengthen resilience, to expand your capacity, and to live fully. So the next time life feels shaky, when fear grips you, or the path ahead seems unclear, pause, breathe, and say, let it be. Embrace the discomfort, trust the process, and watch how growth unfolds naturally. Key takeaways from this chapter. Growth lives in the spaces you resist, in the unknown, and in moments of discomfort. By pausing, breathing, and saying, let it be, you release fear, lean into learning, and strengthen your resilience. Uncertainty becomes opportunity, not a threat. Chapter 7. Living authentically and embracing your path. After learning to let go of judgment, release control, and embrace discomfort, the final step is living authentically, being true to yourself, without apology. Authenticity is not about perfection. It's about alignment, aligning your actions with your values, your choices with your desires, your voice with your truth. The let them theory reminds us that people may not always understand your choices. They may question your path, or suggest easier alternatives, or even try to redirect you. And that's okay, because living authentically is not about pleasing others. It's about honoring yourself. Imagine pursuing a dream career, starting a new creative project, or speaking your truth in a relationship. Doubt will arise, criticism will appear, and fear may whisper that you're making a mistake. But in these moments, you pause, breathe, and say, let others' opinions exist. Let them question. Let them misunderstand. Your purpose is to stay true to your path. Reflection is vital here. Ask yourself, am I making choices based on my own desires, or based on what I think others expect? Am I shrinking myself to fit a mold, or expanding to honor my potential? Living authentically also requires courage. Courage to admit when you're wrong. Courage to stand by your decisions. Courage to embrace vulnerability. But every courageous choice strengthens your confidence and deepens your sense of self. Think about the moments you felt most alive. Weren't those times when you acted from authenticity rather than conformity? When you honored your curiosity, your creativity, your heart? By practicing let them consistently, you free yourself from external validation, from fear of judgment, from comparison, and from the need to control outcomes. You reclaim your energy, your focus, your joy. Your life becomes a reflection of your true self. Your decisions align with your values. Your relationships thrive on honesty and respect. And your sense of purpose shines through in everything you do. So the final practice of this journey is simple. Pause, breathe, and say, let them. Let the world be as it is. And commit to being fully, unapologetically you. When you live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple of freedom, courage, and possibility. Key takeaways from this chapter. The final step is being unapologetically yourself. Living authentically means aligning your actions with your values, making choices based on your desires, not the expectations of others. By pausing, breathing, and saying, let them, you release the need for validation, trust your own path, and honor your unique journey. When you live this way, you inspire others, create meaningful connections, and experience true freedom and fulfillment. Listen, guys, I have boiled this book down to its most essential insight just for you. Don't forget to subscribe for daily summaries and life-changing takeaways. The Let Them theory is simple, yet profoundly transformative. Teaches us to pause, breathe, and release the need to control, judge, or compare. From letting go of unnecessary burdens, to freeing yourself from the need for approval, to handling negativity, overcoming envy, navigating relationships, embracing discomfort, and finally living authentically. Each step builds a life of clarity, peace, and empowerment. The key is consistency. These practices are not one-time fixes. They are daily habits, mindful choices, and small acts of courage. When you say, let them or let it be, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your joy. You stop letting the outside world dictate your emotions and start living fully, intentionally, and unapologetically. This book is a reminder. You cannot control everything, and that's okay. Your power lies in choosing your responses, trusting your journey, and honoring your own path. So pause, breathe, practice let them daily, and watch as your life transforms into a journey of freedom, courage, and fulfillment. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Your support keeps me motivated to bring you more audiobooks and summaries made just for growth-minded people like you. Drop a comment below and tell me which book you want to hear next. Explore the other life-changing book summaries on my channel, or click the link in the description or comment. I truly appreciate your support. See you in the next book summary. Take care and stay safe.